Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Uncommon Sense number 53. I am coming to you live from the Sydney airport, where I am literally live. You can't see it, but I've literally got an audience out there of hundreds. And funnily enough, none of them are looking at me or listening to me. So that's why you can actually sit in an airport and get away with doing these things, because no one really cares what you're doing. Now, some of you might be thinking that does not look like Dean Holmes, and you'd be absolutely right. I've let Dean go solo a couple of times when I've had some things on, and today he's celebrating a birthday. And so I thought, how do I do this alone? I can't. I'm going to bring in the man who is normally behind the scenes. So, welcome, Bentley. Thank you for being with me.
Thanks, Craig. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure, mate. Now, by way of introduction, everyone, you might think Uncommon Sense comes to you live seamlessly, and then it goes to the podcast that you listen to it seamlessly and all of those things. But the reality is it doesn't. Bentley is our man behind the scenes, who normally takes care of all of this stuff for us. And so today I thought, since Dean had bailed on me, let's bring the man from behind the scenes and put him in front of the camera. So be gentle with him. But ladies and gentlemen, a big welcome to Bentley. So Bentley, why don't you kick off, mate, by telling us a little bit about yourself and then what you actually do for the Uncommon Sense program.
Yeah, cool. Thanks, Craig. Thanks for the kind introduction. um, yeah, so I've been working with Dean for 5 years and 7 months now, and I used to um, start working with Absolute Wealth Advisors in 2018 as client service administrator, and then I started with no financial planning background, so it was a challenge for me. But Dean was there to train me, and as we move along with the business, I got promoted as a team leader, and then now I assist Dean with his coaching firm in the Wealth Network. And one of the things that he does in the Wealth Network is this Uncommon Sense podcast. So it's really a new thing for me because in my previous work, I worked for an aged care service provider in the education team for an Australian company as well that is based in Adelaide. So working with Aussies for me is not new. So can know and feel how to work with Australians. So it's a pleasure to be with working with Dean and also being in the podcast with you, Craig. So happy to be here.
Well, mate, that's wonderful. And it's very evident to the
Yeah.
people watching live online that my co-host just got much better looking, and maybe we'll attract some more viewers through that, Bentley. So, mate, now what we didn't tell everyone at the start, but you're actually in Cebu in the Philippines.
Yeah,
So
true.
he's 2 hours behind our time zone at the moment, but that's okay. It's 11 o'clock. He got up at 10 for this, so he's been he's all fresh and ready to go. But and some of the times over our programs, Dean and I have talked about working with VAs and teams
Yep.
in the Philippines and how to bring it together and stuff. And we've always given our point of view in terms of the way you should work with teams that aren't located in your office but are working as part of
Mhm.
the business. And that's great to come from our perspective. But I thought
Mhm.
having you on today, Bentley, it's a really good opportunity for us to share with our listeners um,
Mhm.
what's important from your perspective. So you're obviously a key member of the Wealth Network
Right.
team, been a key member in Absolute Wealth Advisors, but you've never been into their office or where they work in Australia.
No,
Um,
not at all.
and so, mate, what I think is going to be really beneficial for everyone listening today
Yep.
is, is what do you see as the important things for engagement, etc., to be able to work with a business that you don't sit with day to day from an office physical perspective?
Right. So when I started working with Absolute Wealth, we first had our team in a local office here in Cebu, and then when pandemic came, we transitioned to working from home, and until now we are still working remotely. It was um, okay when we were in local office because I could just go to my colleagues just sitting right beside me or right behind me, so I could just help them. And the way that we work with the financial advisors who are in Australia, we because there are certain instructions, certain processes that we are not familiar with. So what we do is uh, we go on Teams and we ask our financial advisor to demonstrate it to us on how certain things or certain processes are done, and then we make sure that we record those training so that because not everything we could capture at one go, so we just go to the recording and we have a replay, and then whatever that we do from there, we make sure that we also document the things that we do, so that because everyone has different learning, some would like to just go on the video recording, some would just refer to a documented step-by-step process. um, yeah, so that would be very helpful for everyone to work smoothly and harmoniously, and everyone's on the same page. So I think documentation of the procedures and processes, business processes, would be very a key to setting up your virtual staff a success. And I think I also what I love about working Absolute Wealth or the Wealth Network, because just last February, the team from Sydney, they all came here to Cebu to visit all of our staff. So I think that really opened up or lighted up the emotions of my colleagues. Everyone get to meet all the Aussie teams, and the Aussie teams get to meet for the first time with the Philippine team. So it was fun. It was we learned a lot of things about our financial advisors, and just like financial advisors knowing their clients, it's also important to know your staff, and staff knowing who you are working with, who the financial advisors are, and you'll get to know the culture, who they are. We know that Aussies are a little taller than Filipinos, so um,
You haven't met me yet, Bentley.
we thought that people because we just see them mostly on a tiny little screen in the computer. So when we see them in person, we were surprised. Oh, this is how tall Ant is, or this is how tall
Yep.
Dean is. So yeah, so and everyone gets to know everyone, and everyone gets to talk about. The culture is not just work related, but everyone gets to meet everyone. So I think that's really one of the things that makes the team empowered. And one of the things that we did during that visit, we also had a collaboration, a team collaboration of what everyone does from the very beginning of the process to the end, to the implementation, and even to the reviews. So everyone gets to give their insights, their inputs on how to make the process become better and efficient, so that everyone works harmoniously and everyone gets to de-stress, because sometimes some of our colleagues are confused on what could be the process, or who does what. So that gets clarified, and everyone gets to ask questions in person.
Yep.
So there's no stupid questions, and everyone gets to express what they have in their mind to make the work smooth.
Perfect. So if we sort of start to summarize up a bit, like a personal visit really makes a difference because you
Yeah,
actually
correct.
really physically get to know each other, and then having clear
Exactly.
systems and processes in place that perhaps are recorded on video is important
Yep.
for you and your colleagues. So then if you need to go back over it to pick up
True.
another one of the points of stuff, you've always got that there documented to be able to follow.
Exactly. Yep.
Yep. So then what about day to day, mate? So obviously they can't stay in the Philippines with you because they've got families and
Yeah.
things in Sydney to do.
True.
And you're not, you're not going to move from there to here. So day to day, what are the important things that you and your colleagues would expect from the people you work with to keep it harmonious and running along smoothly?
Right. So at the start of the day, we usually get everyone to know what their top 5 urgent or important tasks that they need to accomplish within the day. And then we prioritize those certain tasks to make sure that they are accomplished in a timely manner. And the tools that we have right now are really also helpful to help us remind us on what important things that we need to do. So we also have like group chat for our Filipino team, so that if, for example, they have questions and they don't understand, and someone who is more experienced in that certain task, they could ask questions, and we could also help them that they may be able to fulfill, or maybe they may be able to accomplish that task right away. So team collaboration, that's also very important. And prioritization of task is also the key to help them move forward in their role.
Yeah, and so how do you get that prioritization of tasks from the team in Australia? Do you have a morning meeting? Do you have a
Yep.
like what's your meeting structure with the Australian guys team?
Yep. So we have financial advisors, and they have advisor support specialists that's specific to that one financial advisor, and they set a meeting. Maybe we usually have our meetings on Mondays, and during
Mhm.
that meeting, we discuss with the financial advisor as to what are the things that we need to accomplish within this week or are urgent. And if we have questions, we also ask questions during that time, so that by Tuesday to Thursday or Friday, we are freeing up the advisor's time from our questions. And yeah, so we discuss that in Monday meetings, and make sure we also make sure that we track those overdue tasks, make sure that we do them right away, so that each week we make sure that we don't pile overdue tasks. Um, so we just make sure that we do them within that time period.
Very good, very good. All right, so that made it's really evident that systems process all of that, the right
Yep.
meetings, the right communication, and all of that kind of thing makes it work. If I was going to hire a team member in the Philippines tomorrow,
Yep.
what
Mhm.
advice would you give me on how to make that work out the best and make them
Right.
feel welcome? What's your advice for that?
Yep. So think would be the best set a day for just to get to know with your virtual staff, and staff getting to know the financial advisor. Do a little bit of fun things, getting to know you. Maybe you can have online games or something like that, just to remove the barriers. And because when we first meet new people, we always have like that we always have that nerves inside
Hmm.
our bodies, and we feel like this is really nervous to meet new people, and we don't know that virtual staff hasn't have any financial background. Then you ask them right away with anything about finance, then they'll be go, oh no, I don't know about this one. So maybe this job is not for me. So and then I think one of the best ways is to also set a like a program, or an outline on what to expect during that day, and then the next day what's going to happen next, what training will you be doing next, and then give the staff a time to study and research, so that at least when you go on training with them, they have at least a little knowledge about what you're going to talk about or what the training will be about. So yeah, and don't forget to record all the trainings, because that will be very helpful for the virtual staff to um, replay and rewatch the videos, and make sure that he or she could be able to document all the steps that in the business process.
Yeah, and is that an important part, Bentley? Because sometimes I've heard culturally that your culture can find it difficult initially to be able to come back and go, I don't understand what you meant about that process. Can you tell me again?
Yeah, yeah. So
Versus actually being able to have it there and just quickly pick it up again yourself. Is that a myth, or is that true?
It is true for some, especially for
Yep.
those who don't have much experience in the workforce. Um, Generally, some of the Filipino staff are shy or timid, or sometimes they feel they would go to someone hire them that they could ask questions because there could be like a hierarchy culture in the Philippines. So
Hmm.
um, what we do with our team is we empower them to really ask questions right away. Don't let anyone ask question for you, because especially when you are an advisor support specialist, it will just be you and the financial advisor who will be working together. So it's really important to ask questions right away and clarify things if you don't really understand, because there might be jargons in the finance industry that a staff couldn't understand. So it's better to clarify what this word means, because you might have a different understanding of a certain phrase or word, and that could mean different results if you don't understand it correctly. So just empower them to really ask questions.
Awesome, mate. That's great. And mate, why don't you tell us what's one of your favourite things to do when you're not at work?
Oh, that's a good question. I really like to walk. So what I do is I just go outside, and because I live uphill, so I go uphill and just um, walk, or if I wanted to run, I also run and jog, and I also love being in the nature. Um, I really love to travel as well, going to the beach because we're in an island, so we have different beaches here in the Philippines. So we just go island to island, and that's something that I really love doing outside of work. I also used to play badminton, but not much at the moment. So
All right, we'll leave you to walk and run up hills and then go to the beach to recover.
yeah,
That
yeah,
sounds great.
true.
Well, Bentley, we might call it there, mate. But I think it's been really great to have you on today. For those, if you're listening live now, throw this young man a comment and tell him how great he's done. We're in the fortunate position of having done 53. This is Bentley's first one in front of the camera, and I know this morning he was a little bit nervous about it, just like Dean and I were way back at number one.
Yeah,
So chuck a comment in and tell him how good a job he's done. If you're listening to it later, chuck a comment in and tell him how good he's done. Bentley, you're obviously a key part of our team in terms of
yep,
making this all work. And mate, I know that Dean and Paul and the team at Absolute Wealth Advisors and the Wealth Network really rate you as well in terms of the work you've done. And I think it's been wonderful today, mate, for the listeners to hear from your perspective how it can work really well when you're working virtually. So Bentley, thank you for being my co host. Thank you for joining me. And more importantly, thank you for sharing your wonderful insights.
thank you very much, Craig. And I also track all the comments in all of the Uncommon Sense podcasts. So if you have
There you go.
questions, feel free to send your comments and questions.
Perfect. So load up the comments for him so he can track them and he can get the most out of any episode. That'd be great. All right, everyone, we'll
Cool.
leave you to your days, but thanks, Bentley, and have a great day.
Thanks, Craig. Thanks, everyone. Bye.